There's a news report floating around that ICE detained a 5-year-old in Minnesota to lure their illegal alien father that they were trying to capture. Is that true? No, it's not. But there is a story there. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a crazy story coming out of Minnesota in which the mainstream media says that a 5-year-old boy was detained by ICE. Now, that is not what happened. They're talking about he was detained by ICE to lure the father out. That's just not real. Let me tell you what really happened. So ICE agents went for a targeted deportation action against an illegal alien from Ecuador. He's not a Somali. He is from Ecuador. So as they're approaching him in his driveway, he leaves. He runs. He flees the scene. Now, they look in the vehicle after he fled and realized you got a little boy in the back seat by himself. So ICE agents stayed with the boy and protected him until they could get things figured out. That's what happened. If he did not flee the scene, the whole thing would have been totally different. And before I go into any details, let's get into what the news says. This is going to be, I believe, NBC. And of course, I will link to everything in the description if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Meanwhile, another major flashpoint on the ground here, a local school district who's sounding alarms. They say about 4 of their students taken into ICE custody, including a 5-year-old boy who they say was detained with his father in the family's driveway. The district alleges that another adult in the home begged agents to leave the child with them, but that the agents refused. NBC News reached out to DHS about this overnight for comment. They didn't respond to us, but the agency did tell the Washington Post that their policy is to ask parents if they want to be removed with their children or be placed with a person designated by the parent. And all of this.
Let's pause right there. You heard what she just said. The policy of ICE is to ask the parent who they're detaining, what is happening with your kids? Okay, you got your kids with you. There's options. We'll get to that in a minute.
As the administration now appears to be or is expanding their immigration operations to the state of Maine, calling that one Operation Catch of the Day, and stressing there, like they have done here in Minneapolis, that they're apprehending, in their words, the worst of the worst criminals.
Now, this is U.S. House Rep from Minnesota, Angie Craig, talking about the whole situation, and she is wrong as wrong could be. But let's hear from her, shall we?
So now ICE is using a 5-year-old boy. A 5-year-old boy. They took him and used him to lure his father out. And now they've detained them both. The family doesn't know where they are. This is the worst of the damn worst. This is not humanity in Minnesota, folks. If you can look at this 5-year-old and actually with a straight face still support and be silent in the face of what the Trump administration and Kristi Noem is doing, I just can't even believe this is America. I will not vote for a damn penny to Kristi Noem or ICE in this Congress. This is a time where we should all be outraged. If this doesn't pierce through your humanity as a Republican member of Congress, you can't speak out about this, then you've got no humanity left.
All right, there we go. So again, Angie Craig, U.S. House Rep from Minnesota. All right, now let's get to the actual real thing here. Let me just put this up from ICE, okay? Because Ilhan Omar then said something. ICE just detained a 5-year-old child. Don't tell us this is about the worst of the worst. That is a lie. Absolutely foul. Okay. The same thing the other lady said, the worst of the worst thing. They're trying to hammer that point home, talking about, oh, you guys are saying you're going for the worst of the worst. What about this little boy? That's their whole thing. But here's what ICE says. ICE did not target the child. The child was abandoned. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexandro Conejo Arias, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. As agents approached the driver, Adrian Alexandro Conejo Arias fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained with the child while the other officers apprehended him. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parent designates. This is consistent with past administrations' immigration enforcement. Parents can take control of their departure and receive a free flight. And watch this, a free flight and 2,600 U.S. American cold hard cash dollars with the CBP Home app. By using the CBP Home app, illegal aliens reserve the chance to come back the right and legal way. So there you have it. Now, the key is that they can be left with a safe person who the parent designates. So in the instance of somebody from inside the house saying, leave them here with us, can they do that? No, because the policy says the parent must designate. I don't know who you are in the house that the parent may not want that person to be with their child. So no, we can't leave them with you. The parent got to say. But since the parent fled, now we got to just make sure the boy is okay until we can figure out what's going on with the parent. That's just what that is. Now, here is JD Vance talking about what happened out there in, of course, Minnesota. Check it out.
A local school district here is alleging ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota right now?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense. Now, there are so many of these cases like that where if you just understand the context, there have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second. We don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all. But if we had a little cooperation from local and from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
There we go. So shout out to JD Vance. Shout out JD for calling it how he sees it. Calling it how he sees it. It's like, look, we're not arresting 5-year-olds. We were protecting the 5-year-old little boy because the dad ran away. So it's cold in Minneapolis. It's snowing. There's all kind of stuff going on. There's ice everywhere. And then the dad just runs away. Little boy's in the back seat like, oh, what's going on? You just let him sit in the car. You got to do something. Okay, now once you get the father, all right, dad, now what you want to do with the boy? Like, what's going on? You want to live with a family member, or is he going with you? Like, what's happening? That is the option that they're all given, but you cannot be given that option when you flee and just abandon your boy. All the frustration, hatred, and vitriol going toward ICE agents right now because of this whole 5-year-old kerfuffle should be laid at the feet of the father for abandoning them. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the Border Patrol. Shout out to ICE agents. Shout out to law enforcement. Shout out to first responders. Everyone keeping this country safe. You guys have a hard job. It's often a thankless job. So I'm here to thank you. Every day I thank you guys for what you do. Ignore the haters. Ignore the people that don't know anything. The ignorant people of us who want to try to tell you how to do your job. Ignore them. You're doing the right thing and keep on rocking. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this whole situation with the 5-year-old boy that was quote unquote arrested or detained by ICE? Did you hear one story first, and then you saw my video and others, and then a different story was presented to you. And of course, the wrong story is often parroted by the mainstream media, per usual, which is why, in my humble opinion, people no longer trust the mainstream media. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Mainstream media sucks. They keep putting out lies. This was not what they said it was. This was ICE agents being the good guys and the illegal alien from Ecuador being the bad guy. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.